Are we going to be doing? We'll use this one until I show out. Okay. So, does it show everything? Which SD cam? That's good. That's good. Okay. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. So, I want you to note and understand a few things that I think that are important. And one of them is that, I guess I can put my screen on myself here just a moment. One of them is that if more is going on inside of you than outside of you, right? In the words of Fraser, then the end is near. One of the issues and the challenges that have been happening, we've had most of the expectations around our success as human beings based on something else that's outside of us. And what happens is we become immobile internally, and we have all these high expectations from everything and everybody and every system and every company for our success. And today I want to point you back to things that God's given you from birth, and you can tap right into it so you can get where you need to be. So just remember that. And if you didn't write it down if you need to, that you want more going on inside of you than outside of you, of course. And as I said before, if it is true that more is going on inside of you outside of you than inside of you, the end is near. The end of your income as you know it, the end of your good days as you know it, the end of that house or that mortgage as you know it. So I want you to note that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go out. I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to get started. And don't worry, I'll come back and forth to talk to you or to make sure that you're able to see my screen. And then I'll take questions and so forth and or comments as needed. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get back out here and show my secondary screen. The main task is to get 10 leads of training, 10 to get 10. Yeah, but to be honest with you, the math doesn't even have to be that strong. What's really cool is, I'm going to go ahead and share, I almost forgot to share you my screen too. What the real thing here is for you is that the more, watch how powerful this is, the stronger the concept, right, the weaker the math you can get away with. You need to have strong leverage built in this. So now you don't have to find 10 people who get 10. That's a great model. It's easier to find something that everyone can do, and everyone can't find 10, right? Everyone can find 2 for the most part. So I like numbers like that, 2 to 4. And of course, you can still go back and get 10 once you get that momentum going, but it'll feed you longer and faster through a greater depth if you can get something that everyone can do, because that's duplicatable. And how do I know that? The data shows it right there. It's very clear in the data. The data shows that the average network marketer, right, will sponsor 4 to 6 people in an entire year. I know that's not you. I'm just saying the average. So if you have a model like 10, guess what happens? That means that shot, right, is behind you now. Because that shot that you had was based on something that everybody can't do, but everyone can get to, or most. Now all of a sudden, if you have 10,000 people coming to your team throughout the year, right, all of them can duplicate at some level. What happens if you have 10,000 people and each of them get 2? All of a sudden now it's no longer 10,000, right? If each of them get 1, you end up with 20,000, but each of them get 2, you end up with 30,000. So the math becomes easier if you base it on a foundational strategy. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, go ahead and tell me so I'll get started, but I want to make sure that's clear. Your idea, Jason, is brilliant. It's beautiful. But when you do that, right, you're going to have to find 1 in 1,000. So bear with me on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this power of now. And I'm going to talk to you about this based on things that have taken place in history. These things have been under our nose. And instead of just like following movements that don't have substance, you can follow movements that have results. That have results in spite of technology. That have results in spite of how much money you possess. Because you're going to embrace the things that God gave you from birth. And that's that power I've been talking about. And I call it the power of now. Right now. What have you got right now? If you had to assess what you have right now, what is that? What is that power of now for you? What does it look like? How does it, I mean, if I have to really engage it, what does it mean right now? You ever have someone ask you, okay, fine. What are you going to do about it? Right now. You don't have the money. What are you going to do right now? You don't have the commission. It's due on Friday. It's due on Saturday. right now. What are you going to do? Your spouse, your wife or your husband's going to leave. Right now, what can you do about the immediate? That's one of the dangers about this concept of waiting. One of these days it's gonna all be okay, as they say. One of these days it's all gonna get better. My ship's gonna come in. Those, unfortunately, were things that were done to appease a culture of people that had no options. That's one of the things that, as being a descendant from slavery, it's one of the things that was taught is the way to get through the moment is to look forward to a brighter day, right? That's why it was easier for people to get involved with religious events, because one day when we're all die and go to heaven, we have these things. So it's easy for that to be the method, but there are things you can do right now that don't involve later. You can embrace later, but you can embrace right now with little money, with a diagnosis you're not used to, with wherever you are, there is right now. So walk with me so we can do this together in the right now moment. So I'm going to relate it to your business for now. When Bitcoin dips, right? When it goes down, leverage it. How do you mean leverage it? It means that now when someone joins, right? Watch how cool this is. They're still going to pay $25 worth. If you're at the $25 level, they're still going to pay $1,000 worth of it. If Bitcoin goes down, that means they can get it for cheaper to join you. That's a great marketing move right now. Some people go, oh, well, Bitcoin's down. I don't know what it means. People aren't going to want to join me. Get all caught up. How do you analyze right now when it goes down? I say two things. That means you can collect more of it. So when it goes up, you have more money. Some of us out here have been able to create millions because of the fluctuation. Instead of crying and whining when it goes down or doing backflip when it goes up, we figured out how to make money no matter what direction it's going. And I recommend you do the same. Let's relate the power of now to your business before I get into the nitty of the gritty. Let's go and look now to position yourself. Right now, where are you in the grand scheme of things? You need to have yourself in a position where you're making at least $2,000 to $3,000 a month for some. For some of you, you need to be in a position to make $5,000 to $10,000 per month. Others of you, you have such a high cost of living based on the appetite you built up over the years. And I ask you, what are you going to do about it right now? Are you really going to wait until the right company jumps in your lap? Are you really going to wait until your uncle dies and leaves you money? Are you really going to wait until you're at peace and you're done with your marriage counseling? Are you going to right now position yourself with whatever you have? Here's a biblical principle for you. You can be faithful. You probably hear me say it at every single Zoom. You can be faithful over a few things so that you can become ruler over many. Right now, today, find out what you have. Amazing to me. How many people have a business and log in twice a week? That's a shocker for me. Because if I bought IBM, I'm going to check it out every day, see what it's doing for me, how it's making money, how I can influence the money that it's not making, and how I can continue and increase what it is making. Some of you join a business, and it's a shocking thing. Some of you lose your login because it's been so long since you've logged in. Others have done it only to find out they've been away so long, their account has expired, and it made money in their absence. That is not positioning yourself. You have to take this stuff serious right now. Work with what little bit you have and position yourself. That's the power of right now. It doesn't take millions of dollars. Position yourself with the 25 that you have if you must. Position yourself with the $20 monthly. Here's one. Position yourself. You can wait for the right fish and not catch any fish and starve, or you can fish and catch the sunny. If you have someone right now and all they're starting with is $25, earn that commission or allow it to cycle someone into you. How can you make it cycle someone into you? Train those people who are on your team, because when they cycle, they're cycling into your board and paying you. Oh, you also can spend time telling people about the cute shoes you got or about how well your anniversary, your birthday went. You can use energy to do that, but you don't use the energy right now to position someone to join you. Shocker. Huge congratulations goes out right now to Amari. Already at midnight, the contest ends. It's interesting to me that he's positioned himself for the contest. He worked with a little bit he had. How did he do that, Dwayne? Well, he sponsors people. He makes sure he's cycling and sponsoring people. But he didn't stop there. He actually did a testimonial immediately. How do I do it? What do I do? Oh, okay, a video. Doesn't have to have my face on it? Nope. It just needs to be a testimony. Okay, I'm going to do one. Boom. Got points that way. Oh, got the marketing system. Then later goes to figure out how it works. He positioned himself now as a $15,500 machine about to be his at midnight because he gets it. Right now, any one of you could have done that. You could have positioned yourself to be in the top 5 right now. A few signups, a testimony or two, made some decisions and played it real. Instead, we've overbusied ourselves. Right now. But don't worry, I didn't even get to the meat and potatoes. I'm just skimming the top with a little icing so you can really grasp. But you have power without money in your bank account. You have power even though you're alone after 10 years of marriage or whatever you've been through. You have power. Stop denying it, waiting for the right Prince Charming to come along with the right opportunity when you've already had one or you've already had many in front of you that have left you blaming someone else that whether it works right or doesn't work. Why? Because you deserve the results of being a right now entrepreneur. Me personally, I'm a right now entrepreneur. That means if I'm getting ready for bed and something occurs right now that affects my business, I don't go to bed. That means if I'm almost getting ready for dinner, getting ready to walk out the door, something occurs for my entrepreneurship, I go right now. I can always eat. Opportunities, if you didn't know this, opportunities come seldom. The right opportunity rarely comes. And when it comes and you're a right now entrepreneur, you embrace it. You move right now. Well, hey, can we do this on Monday? I mean, it's the most amazing. Today's entrepreneur is a shocker for me. I'm going to go ahead and share my face for this one because I don't know how to. I got to share this. I got to make sure you get what's right and what's wrong with this. So here we go. Unbelievable. Today's marketer, today's entrepreneur is always in waiting mode and don't know why there's no money involved. It has little to do with your gender or your color. Stop it. Nothing to do with that. Has very little to do with who your upline is. So stop it. Right now, own it. Own the responsibility right now. If this is the 3rd week of September and you have made zero money, but you've been busy surfing, commenting, clipping, and all this stuff, and you haven't intentionally put anyone in to see your presentation, no wonder. You're not right now. You're a future entrepreneur. God bless you, future entrepreneurs. Let's own this. Let's go. Oh, I got 4. Now, we're looking for, okay, I like what you're talking about. But I'm telling you guys, you have this, but you have to know that you have it. It's frightening to me. But let's go ahead because I want to get to the meat. I also want to get to the potatoes. So, here we go. Let's go. What else is there of the power of now? Well, I like looking at points and cases of history, in history. Such as a gentleman by the name of Harland. Awkward feller on his days of retirement, receiving $200 or so from the government each month. Right? He learned something from this recipe that he had. He played full out, working at a gas station, pumping gas and cooking food at a convenience mart. We call those convenient marts today, where you can go in, you can pump gas, you can go inside and get a slice of pizza or a hot dog. He's one of those guys behind the counter at retirement age. You rarely will even see that these days. But let's see what has taken place in the life of this gentleman. Colonel Harlan Sanders. Many of you know him as the face of KFC, which it didn't become KFC till like 25 years ago. Before that, it was called Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what we called it in the hood. What's interesting about this, I want you to understand the correlation between this old guy and you. Most of us here are younger than he was, but we got less fight. We have less right now, and I want to make sure you can grasp this if you don't grasp anything else I ever say. You have enough to do all that you need to do in life to live your purpose. You have enough with whatever you have. Some of you believe you need a nicer car to be able to be successful. Others of you believe you need a nicer computer, not knowing that the people who are doing better than you are doing it from a mobile device. You need to jump into right now as this old gentleman did. So let's look at Mr. Harlan, Colonel. He wasn't a colonel. He was given that name because of his contribution to the industry. They came later, called himself Colonel. The governor there in Kentucky has named him that because of something. But let's see. Who is this guy, Harlan Sanders, right? Well, let's talk about it. He was born in 1890 and died in 1980. Well, lived to be 90 years old. What's interesting is some of us believe we missed the boat because we weren't born in the day and age of tech. We're just getting started in home business because of the pandemic. Oh my gosh, I'm already 30, I'm already 40, and most of my time is gone. Here's a guy that started in his 60s, right? After retired, over the age of 65, to chase his dream and his purpose because he was a right now entrepreneur. He was interesting. He was a steam engine stocker. He also sold insurance. This guy was doing everything. That's in his 60s. And he was a gas station attendant who also cooked. This is what he did. Some of you can barely manage. All you have to do is find a couple of people and put them in your business. But you don't spend 8 hours with that. You spend more time on your job making a minimum income every week than you do in your business, and you don't know why it doesn't pay you. I'm going to help you. I want you to see about what Harlan has done. He became tired and knew he had no other options. As a result, he tried to sell this recipe. He was selling at the gas station. He would sell this, made this recipe at a gas station, and watch how powerful this is. He made his own, what you would consider a deep fried pressure cooker. There was none existed. He made it himself with some devices around the kitchen. And had this recipe that he did. He would serve the people there who loved it. But he went door to door and kept getting rejected in his 60s. Some of you guys haven't even had your 50th birthday and you're exhausted from nothing because you're not a right now entrepreneur. But I'm praying that I help you today with taking a look at a picture in history. I told you guys I love history, but I also love biographies. I love to learn from people who've been there. It encourages me and I want to use it to encourage you. So this guy had to create this pressure fryer because they didn't exist yet. Some of you guys can't work with what's already been created. Forget you creating something else. We say, hey, look, you know what? We'll do it for you. Just turn it in. It's amazing. Some of you been first month, turn nothing in. Second month, turn nothing in. This guy had to create it himself. He didn't have a team of people ready to build it for him. What's going on with you? Let's be right now entrepreneurs. Please. It didn't exist, but he got it done. Now, he was making $105 from Social Security. Wasn't satisfied. Some of you get Social Security. Some of you get a stipend from the government because maybe you have a health issue. Maybe someone died early in your life and they left something. That's enough. And you're worried about risking it. This guy didn't worry about risking it. He's like, I refuse to live like this. No, $105 was a lot of money back then, just so you know, right? It was significant. Just like some of the money you guys make, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 a month through your stipend, and you want to have a purpose, but you can't live the purpose because that's not enough. And that the most thing you can think about is risking that. So he put in the same suit every day. When it was staying, he'd spend time scrubbing it, but the same suit, shaking it out, putting it on. Now, watch this. It took him 1,009 tries to be able to get someone accepted. What's interesting is, after a couple years, watch how powerful this is. Do you see that? He franchised his recipe, 300,000 a year to different restaurants. There was no such thing as Kentucky Fried Chicken yet. There was no store yet. There was no franchise. He franchised it, right? $204 million a year is what that would be equivalent to this nowadays. But $300,000, that's what it was back then. Do you have any idea what he did? Because he didn't quit. He was a right now guy. He didn't have the money. He didn't have a government grant. He didn't get loans from the bank. He didn't whine about supplying. He worked it out right now, every day. He didn't care on the 1,000th try. What in the world can you do if you just put your all into it? What are some of the end results of this stuff, folks? I'm fortunate to have come from nothing myself and have read stories like this throughout my life about this right now stuff. No matter how difficult, I was taught I was supposed to keep moving. I remember like yesterday as a kid, we didn't have much to eat. My dad would take us out. We would wait. We would pray to God that it would snow. That way people would get stuck in their cars. We would walk. My hands would feel like little ice blocks. We're waiting for some car to be stuck. We'd help him out. They would give my dad like $5. Him and his sons would help pull him out. Then we'd find driveways. We'd go to the Jewish neighborhoods. I remember how cold it was. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to be like this. I didn't know that my dad had the kind of grit that this guy had. He didn't care how cold it got. His family had to eat. He didn't excuse it. He never said because I'm a black man, ever. He never said that. He said, with whatever we got, we're going. We're going to go fight. And, I learned to be a trooper. Some of you think I'm good at business because I'm a good businessman. I'm good because I learned the power of now as a young man. My father and my mother has taught me this stuff. And you can have it today. You're not a damsel. Some of you feel like, who's going to do it? Nobody did it. I tried to call 5 times. I did this thing. Dude told me the other day, I've been checking. What have you been checking? I logged in your back office. I saw you've not logged in for a week and a half. What are you checking on? Well, I checked Facebook. Good for you. You're not helpless. None of you. The sky's the limit. The world is your oyster. Come on and get it. Here's what I'm going to tell you a principle that I learned. My brother told me this years ago, about 10 years ago. He said it's lonely at the top and crowded at the bottom. If you could step into it, oh my gosh, you're going to find that there's so much room. There's very few people going all out for anything. Most people are waiting for the next election for their success. Some are waiting for a woman to be president, right, of their country. Some are waiting for some law to be passed. Others are waiting for the cost of living to go up. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do any of that. You can start right now with what you got right now because you have the power of now. Be willing to do whatever it takes. You know what's funny? I knew I had this Zoom today. And I was working on multiple things. I just flew in last night. You probably can't tell it. I'm glad you're not in the same room in my office because I don't smell so good. I was up all night. Then I went to sleep at about 6 or so. Then I got up at 10:30. And I've been hustling around because my dad has a doctor's appointment. Some other things have to happen. But whatever it takes. I didn't want to abandon you all because you're worth it. I'm willing to do that. Are you willing to do whatever it takes for you? Are you willing to constantly have excuses because of someone else or something that hasn't happened? One of the best things that ever happened to me growing up was to see my parents, how they embraced life. They embraced it so much. As poor as we were, they had all the reasons in the world. As my dad, when he'd go to work, he was called boy. But I never heard him say that limited him with anything. My dad was a licensed plumber and good as he could do before the 1980s would be a plumber's helper. I remember he was so happy when we made $1.80 an hour working in Lewistown. Never forget that. $1.80 an hour. When you have skills that supersede that. One of the best things I ever saw was when they told me about my brother's polio and what happened. Because he couldn't be seen in the hospital. Because in the Tampa General, they didn't see African Americans. You had to go to the Negro Clinic where they didn't have the equipment, the technology. So he went on 6 months of his life with polio. That has damaged his leg. And it's the atrophy that sets in that's permanent. That damage is done. They never said it's white people's fault. They didn't do that. They just said, Lord, whatever you gave me, we're going to work it out. Some of you here know that my brother is a multi-millionaire trainer developer around the world with his own family, grandchildren, his own life. He never felt helpless, never blamed a soul for anything. If you ever seen him at Russell Brunson doing their thing, my parents have done something with us to teach us that you can't blame your spouse, you can't blame your parents. You got to look in the mirror. You got to see what you can do and be right now, people. You all can do it too. It's for you, for the taking. It doesn't matter if you live in the UK. You just have to learn to exercise your no muscle. Some of you say yes to everything, and unfortunately, you're taken advantage of, and you feel like a damsel when really you have self-destructed. Rest, relax when you're done, but not before. Be a right now entrepreneur. I don't care. Many of you know. You might know it. Maybe you don't. I've missed birthday parties. I miss dinner. I don't like to because I like food. I miss things so that I can be there for the biggie. So I like to practice what I call the Dave Ramsey model, right? If any of you read any of his books, he says, live like no one else so you could live like no one else. And for me, that's all I could think of. I want to live like no one else so I can live like no one else. How about you? What do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life, with what you have? Do you really have an excuse because your internet's down, right? All of us here have loved ones who've had COVID. All of us here know people, or most of us have people that have passed away, but we have no excuse. They have an excuse. You don't have an excuse. Right now. Unbelievable. I never had an opportunity like you guys have in home business. No one was ever going to give me 100%, and the one company that did, right? I made sure a week went by. Every week I hosted in my home, right? Or at a hotel. It was $1,000 a piece, right? It was a 2-up system. Easy data cash. I made sure I signed up 20 to 40 people a week. Not because I'm great, but because I hustled. I made sure an opportunity didn't go by where I didn't saturate the market with the opportunity that I had, where they can make 100%. And I gave them more than the company gave them. I didn't just live with the company. I didn't expect the company to do everything for me. I told them, when you sign up with me, we're doing this for you. We'll give you your site. We'll do all this. I created a model that could be duplicated. Just get 2. See, you pass your first 2 up, but after that, everything else you keep in that company. So, 20 to 40 people a week. That was my goal. So every day, people were signing up at the $1,000 level. But that you don't have to do that. The world's changed a lot. But why can't some of you do that with $100? I don't even know what's wrong. You went 2, 3, 4 weeks. All you do is watch everyone else, and you act like you're busy on something, but you have no reason to be surfing Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube with everybody else's thing. Do it. Do it. You can't look. It's called failing forward. You know how many no's I had to have before I started getting yeses, before I really learned the skill of how to sell? Instead of chasing around, no selling, no recruiting. I didn't do that. I went for it. I got embarrassed. Man, get away from me with that thing. I've had people tell me that. So I heard them tell me, no, thank you. Never again when I do one of those things. So what? But when I got the yeses, it was so sweet. It was worth it. So now, I am my wife and eldest son's full-time career, and I'm doing it all. Bro, I love that, Jason. The world needs champions. I became a champion for my family. I said, I will not accept it. The only way I accept losing is death. That's the only thing I was going to do. I would not stop for my people. Today, I'm the grandfather of 5, father of 3. Wow! What is possible for you? So now, let me ask you, what stands in your way? If you're a right now entrepreneur, when the opportunity comes up, someone says, hey, what's that thing you're working on? Well, I'll tell you later. Not me. I'm going to say, what? That thing I was working on? Dude, I'm going to send you a link right now. You check it out, and we're going to talk afterwards. Then I'm going to ask him the 2 questions. Busy yourself with things that pay you. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You want residual pay-in, but you don't have residual input. Some of you just need to get to a point where you have a residual input. I have stopped posting ads on Facebook and started PMing my contacts on Facebook and have more engagement from sending private messages. Yeah, of course. Now, I'm going to stop for a moment. I have to be fair. There's things I don't know about. I want you to ask me any question you have. I will do all I can to assist you or to provide a solution and or give you some tips. What questions do you have about this topic of being a right now entrepreneur? How can I be a blessing to you and your family using this? Tell me, what can I do? Por favor. Anyone. Okay. Anyone? No one. Wow, you guys are good. I don't know how this happened. Hey, Jackie, I used to get a lot from you. You got anything, dear? Because folks get quiet. I be scaring people, I think. I don't want to scare anybody. I just want to help. So do you have anything, dear?
No, you're not scaring. You're just bringing a sense of reality and a sense of balance to the conversation because of how we've been, I won't say trained or dumbed down.
Mm-hmm.
It gave a very unrealistic approach to business and how you do business and going from one thing to the next. So I appreciate you with that, and I like it straight. So it's good. Well, for me, this is where I am. Well, I should say not struggling, but what I actually have time now to work on. Crafting my story because when I originally came to your company, I was looking at what I was passionate about. And there is a company I'm very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So I fell in love. They were talking about, your whole one up thing. I was like, yeah. I was more excited, like I said, about the product and what it could do once I get things in place. So maybe for me, it would be connecting my front end product and then using your products in order, like the autoresponder and things like that, in order to promote it. And then also, I see long term, it would be a great way because most people don't know how to. They don't know it's a better way to do their online marketing. So hopefully, I'm looking at it the right way because once I educate people on how to, you can get these products, pay one time, and just pay a monthly fee. So am I looking at it the right way?
Well, sort of, but they can get the products and not pay a monthly fee. If they're not trying to do business, if they're just trying to use the products, they pay you for the product. If they want to make money, that's when they pay me. They pay the company. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So $20 a month is if you wanted to be able to generate income from this. Don't worry, I'm gonna clarify that, but just so I don't lose anyone. Starting on Tuesday, starting tomorrow, we call it Traffic Tuesdays, right? And so I've already commissioned Curve and Cherry each week to help you all with how to do that. So that one and done was helpful, but I see the question Tommy has about $5 a day. I hear what you're talking about, front end and back end. So you need greater clarification on how to properly position things. So, and that comes from knowing. So that's a good question that you have there. And I'm not sure what day. I think I'm probably going to pick Sunday nights for Q&A. That way you never have to wait long term for that kind of question. So if it gets down to it, just like, I got this one company, I love their products. I need to use as a stepping stone. I need to start with Ingreso and get to that one. Well, that's a good question because how would you do that? And so what I would tell you in that question, if this was a Sunday night, it's not, but I'm going to pretend it is. If it's a Sunday night, I'm going to tell you one of the best ways to position that is, I don't know what that product is, but that product, clearly you're going to have to reach people. One of the biggest weaknesses I see here today is I get to see the amount of emailing going out, right? Our system can hold millions and millions of emails going out a day. And I can see that most don't use that. They may capture leads, but they're not emailing. And they're not setting up auto responses and things like that. So one of the things I'm hoping to do is to create something where you guys, if I do it for you, you just didn't get anything. I'm not a big fan of just someone wrote these messages, I'm going to get them. You really need to be able to do what you talked about, telling your story. And so in my training, I want to be able to teach you guys how to start take your story from you. If someone hears my story and then they hear you talking to them, or they read your email messages, it's not gonna mix. It's gonna say something doesn't feel right. It's almost like reading from a ghostwriter. So my messages will help me. I need you to learn your voice, so when you write it, and they can sound like you, Jackie. Like if I was getting an email message from you and then I heard you talk, that email message would have to match you, which means, hey, I like to keep it real. Someone kept it real for me. I love these beauty products that I have in this one company. However, I had a roadblock. But now, ever since I found the company that actually offers a tool, I pay one time. I don't have to do business with them, and I'm using it. I want you to know that now I have an autoresponder I only paid $25 for. I never have to do it again. That would be a Jackie voice, because I know that much about you. You like keeping it real. You like when you discovered something. But if I use a Dwayne Golden message, it's going to sound weird. It's like, that ain't her. Is she using running lines on me, right? You know, you ladies, you're at the bar, a guy drops a couple lines and you know it's not him. He's just saying what someone else said. Your own voice is needed. And that's why I talk about this. Instead of avoiding recruiting people and that kind of thing, let's pick up on a skill that's now lost. People want to use magical videos and magical scripts that someone else wrote to recruit people. And then when they don't stay, we're all a little confused. Use your voice, because when you use your voice and your people come to it for you, they don't go nowhere. They don't care what company goes out of business. They're still with you. Did that make sense, Jack, or did I ramble like I usually do?
No, it makes total sense, because that's why when I invested in another, and I was like, I'm just investing in that. I invested in another course where this young lady does the total opposite for network marketing. And basically, she was just saying, leave all of this rah-rah stuff alone. You have to learn how to have your voice, how to speak to your customer. She says, how to yay your boo. How to yay for your
Hey, look, I don't know what that means, but I love it. She's right. And when I get email messages, if I go to my inbox right now and showed you, the people who are writing me aren't even writing me. They hired a copywriter, right? They are doing some things that unfortunately have put them. Oh, excuse me, I gotta go back to the sheet. They're doing some things that gets them a bite, and they get the bite, and then they go into the system, and what happens is, now I said, wait a minute, I signed up with this person, but this is something that don't even seem real, right? They're fake. And so your voice matters. And in your voice, it better be about what's good for them. A lot of you guys are writers, and I read your stuff, and it's always about you and your thing. How you are doing now. You know, what your favorite color is. When you like to go swimming. That's good, but people have real lives. And if I got a kid who's dealing with MS, I'm not going to deal with your BS every day. Tell me how great you have it. But if you write in your voice, you know, I wish all the best to you and your family, right? As I know that everybody's going through something. For me and mine, my daughter is going through this challenge, so I imagine you probably are going through something too. I use business, right, to give me a break so I can be stronger for my daughter. When people write like that, and instead of like, here's me, here's my name, here's my brand, here's my name, here's my stuff, here's my goods, here's my products, here's how much I made last month, I am telling you the reason people fall for all the scams, because nobody's talking in the real voice. Because here's what happens when you talk in a real voice to real people. You get signups. You don't have to beg them to pay at the highest possible level. They want to, because now they matter. But for those of you who are doing your deal and you're writing, everything's always about you. No wonder people say, well, I'll do, what's the lowest you got? What's the least I have to pay? How do I get you off my back is what they're saying. But when you write them about them, they don't even want you to hang up. They don't want you to stop talking. They don't want you to stop emailing, because you do it right in a right now voice that belongs to you. And here's the real kicker. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. Some of you won't even send it unless you're not dangling a participle, and you're not in the voice passive, and you're not ending a sentence in a preposition. The recipient doesn't care. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. So stop talking about you and include them in your messaging. Have I hit it home for anybody? Does that help any of you all with the writing stuff? Or have I lost you? Like the song says, why have I lost you, baby? Uh-oh, have I lost you guys?
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfectly.
And Jackie, thank you for hitting that nail on the head because that's what's missing. You know, I've been, that's what's missing from the single world. Ladies aren't getting the real deal anymore, and guys aren't getting the real deal anymore. Everybody's putting up this imposture, this perpetrating MO or profile because people aren't giving themselves anymore. It's a lost art. Me, have you noticed when I speak, I go into the high pitch, my decibels go up because I'm letting go. I'm giving myself. I don't care that the 2 hairs that I have I didn't comb today. I don't care that I didn't have time to get soap and water. I'm giving you all of me, and I don't care if you judge me for it. That type of realness is needed from you to your people. Please take a bath. Don't get me wrong, but that's what's needed. Now, when you do that, they don't care what color you are. They don't care if you're a woman or a man. Finally, somebody speaks to me about me instead of this hoopla. Hey, just made another $360,000, right? What you waiting for? Join my team. We're exploding. We're blowing up. I hear it all. Hey, don't miss it. Already this week, I signed up 45. When are you coming? That stuff doesn't last. The person that joins you to look around, and then you call them lazy as if they've done something wrong. You say that they're not doing any work. Yeah, because it's not reproducible. It's not duplicatable to create these sterile, narcissistic people. Talk to them about them so they can talk to people about them. Okay, people honestly don't just, and not just someone boast. Yeah, that's right. If you're doing good, good. Tell me how I can do good. Right? Because while you're writing this email and you want me not to delete it, I'm changing the diaper of a kid who has CF. So you better get my attention while you got me, because some of you didn't realize this. On the other side of your email message is a real person who might have just buried their father or their mother, right? Who is going through depression, right? Who may be a caregiver or alone and all they have is cats. How dare you overwhelm them with you? You want signups? Be real. Give you in an effort to assist someone. Don't be the faker. Well, I just signed up for my business. I just want to help all the people in the world. And nothing about your emails shows that you're trying to help anybody, because all you talk about is you and your thing. Right? All you care about, you call yourself the hammer. You just want people to know that you're the hammer. All you do is gibber about you. But I'm telling you, there are real people on the other end. Now, would it make a difference to you when you write that email message to know that when they open your email message, they just got back from a funeral, or they're in the midst of recovering from pneumonia? Does it help you to know that there are real people, real things going on? Because you'd be better writers. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be grammatically correct. You just actually have to care. I am probably one of the more illiterate people out here in the industry. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not trying to clean that up. If it means cleaning it up means I have to become sterile towards the people I care about. And ladies, am I wrong? You'd rather have a guy say, I do love you with my heart. They're not even, and they might say, use a double negative. Don't nobody ever get in my way when I talk about how much I love you. Or you want a guy that's going to read something perfect that ain't even coming from his heart. How I love thee. Let me count the ways. One of them, he means it. People are the same. Let's treat them as human beings, and let's make sure if you're going to make money, you will have earned it, because you're giving way more value than the little bit of money someone's paying for what you're giving them. Amen goes right there. Yes, it does. Okay. Was there anybody else? I took Jackie, whenever you do that, you're really good at pushing buttons. You always give me enough to really just go right on. All right. Anybody else? And Tommy, did you get my message? Tuesday, tomorrow, there's going to be Traffic Tuesday, brought to you by Curve and Cherry.
That sounds great.
Okay, good deal. All right, anybody else?
What time?
Yes, that's right. 3 p.m.
Okay.
Who asked? Who's asking?
This is Jackie.
Okay. So, well, see, she's so tough. I get on intimidated. She's, this is Jackie. Don't hit me. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just adding on. I'm just wondering. It's 3 o'clock East Coast time. Very good. Okay.
Yes. Even though you're what, California or something?
I'm Central. I'm Chicago.
Okay. Oh, Chi-Town.
Chi-town. Yes.
Hey, here's how they say it in other countries. Chicago. Bang, bang. Al Capone. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Chi-Town. What's up? Caprini Green. Rush Street. McCormick Place. Lakeshore Drive. I used to live out there. Went to high school out there. Okay.
No more Cabrini Green, so don't do that. Don't take your creed away.
Okay. It was there back then. I should do ministry there. I'd go and take food and deal with the shut-ins and tell people about Jesus Christ and take and see if we could help cook meals, do whatever we could do for people. I did that for years over there. I also worked at the prison. I had a prison ministry. We would work in the prisons and help people there. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yes. I tutored inmates. Yes.
Why is American time different in the States, Amar? Because years ago, Americans, we believed that everything we did was right and everything the rest of the world did was wrong. So we measure things differently. We use inches and we use miles. We use things like that I know the rest of the world doesn't use. But we can make an adjustment there. We have different time zones because it takes so long to get from one part of our country to another. That may not make sense, but literally if we made everywhere 5 o'clock at the same time in the United States, it really would it would literally be 2 o'clock. It'd be early in the day. Actually, let me give a different time zone. Let me say if we made 7 p.m. the same for everybody, it really would be so early. It wouldn't get dark until midnight for the guys out west. So anyway, great question. Probably not good for this webinar. By the way, congratulations, superstar. Dude, you want to tell us what you did? What's your secret? How'd you get so many points? How were you sponsoring people? I know what kind of challenges you had in the earlier part of the year, the tragedies you had to go through. You must be a right now entrepreneur, Mari. Talk to me. And congratulations. Open up your microphone, sir. I want to hear from you. You have done an amazing job. I think you have almost 400 points on the contest. Are you there, Mari? Unmute yourself because I want to hear from you anyway, if you can. Oh, you're not confident in talking? Wow. You mean you got almost 400 points without being confident? You guys hear that? You guys hear that? This guy's walking away with an ATM that's going to pay him every time someone makes a transaction, whether they're buying crypto or selling it and cashing it out. He's going to do it. He won that by not being comfortable talking. That is powerful. Wow. Congratulations. Although I'm sure you have a great voice, sir. What I did was I just believe in the system, which you provided. Well, congratulations. See, some of you guys have been doing this stuff for years, right? All he did was leaned into it with a right now attitude, not liking his own voice yet, and he did it anyway. Wow. Congrats. It's not even over yet until midnight, but clearly you're still doing it. I saw several things you did out there today, and congratulations to the people you're signing up now. Let's go. All in. Hey, look, you know what when people talk about crypto, you know what I tell them? Told you so. Y'all thought it was a scam. Congratulations anyway. Appreciate that, bro. Anyone else? You said leaders are main focus to the support people. Cool. Actually, everyone is a main focus to support people. I just try to teach you to stop trying to be a mama to everybody. Tell them to go to support. You made them stronger by doing that. Some of you leaders got to understand that if you want to do your kids' homework, they're not going to get smarter. They're going to become dependents. If you want to protect your children by covering it up when they get caught shoplifting or stealing, you're not making them stronger or better people. You're making them worse. So that's what I meant. When I told you that, Amari, I told you so your people can become empowered and become better and do better. And look at that, what's happening. You're getting results and they're getting results. Wow. All right. We're approaching the top of the hour. Is there anyone else? Anything else? I want to congratulate all of you for the work you've been doing. We need leaders within the team and outside the team. We all want the same thing, yes, but we all don't do the same thing. So, Amari, I'm going to tell you something. In the real world, everybody wants the outcome. But in the real world, 1 to 3% will go all out and do it. You guys have to choose to become one of the 1 to 3%. Everybody wants to get paid. Everybody wants a successful business, but very few people are going to work when they're sleepy. Very few people are going to work when they're hungry. Very few people are going to get the training and the development to become better. So when you know that math, you don't have to feel guilty because you're making it and others aren't. You just have to, my job is to encourage everyone to go all out so that your families can benefit from that. So there you go. All right. I poured my heart out, guys. If there is no one else, remember this, in the words of Mr. Dave Ramsey, live like no one else so you can live like no one else. Some of you are trying to live like no one else early, and later you won't be able to, you're going to live just like everyone else, right? You're going to be in need, waiting for the government, waiting for the next check. If you continue to try to be like everyone else now, be different. Go all in and be a right now entrepreneur. This is Dwayne Golden, with all the love I can muster up for each of you. On behalf of your families and behalf of our team here at Ingreso Cybernetico, God bless you. Have a great day. Take care.